Picture a time when fear and superstition ruled the hearts of men, a time when the innocent were condemned and hysteria reigned supreme. Welcome to Salem, Massachusetts, 1692. In the late 17th century, the small Puritan community of Salem was gripped by a fear so palpable, it led to one of the most notorious periods in American history, the Salem Witch Trials. It was a time when neighbor turned against neighbor, friend against friend, all in the name of rooting out supposed witchcraft. Imagine a world where a simple illness, an unexplained event, or even a personal grudge could land you in the dock, accused of consorting with the devil. A world where spectral evidence, testimony based on dreams and visions, was considered valid, and a mere accusation could cost you your life. In the span of less than 2 years, more than 200 people were accused of witchcraft, 20 were executed, and 5 others died in custody. A stark reminder of the power of mass hysteria and the devastating consequences of intolerance and fear. Fast forward over 3 centuries to the present day, the scars of Salem's past still linger, etched into the town's very soul. Even now, the echoes of those dreadful days can be felt, a chilling reminder of a time when fear overruled reason. In this series, we'll be peeling back the layers of history, guided by a team of modern investigators. Armed with the tools of their trade, from historical records and scientific evidence to paranormal equipment, they'll dissect the Salem Witch Trials, aiming to separate fact from fiction, myth from reality. They'll talk to locals, historians, and experts in the paranormal, seeking to understand the true nature of the events that unfolded in Salem all those years ago. Was it mass hysteria, religious extremism, or could there have been something more supernatural at play? Join us as we delve into the shadowy past of Salem, in search of the truth behind the witch trials. Scene script. Even centuries later, Salem whispers its dark secrets. Today we listen to these tales from the locals. In the heart of Salem, we find a community steeped in history and mystery. The locals, descendants of a time long past, are the keepers of the city's stories. We sit down with a few of them to hear their accounts of the infamous witch trials and any lingering signs of the supernatural. First, we meet Martha, a 6th-generation Salem resident with a family tree rooted in the 17th century. Martha recounts the chilling bedtime stories passed down through generations, tales of innocent women accused of witchcraft, the hysteria that gripped the town, and the tragic fates met at the gallows. Martha believes, as many in Salem do, that the spirits of those wrongfully accused still wander the town, restless and seeking justice. Next, we chat with John, a local historian and tour guide. He shares personal experiences of unexplainable events that have occurred during his tours, flickering lanterns, cold spots, and even the occasional spectral figure. John, a skeptic turned believer, says these occurrences are too frequent to dismiss as mere coincidence. We also speak with Emily, a young woman who moved to Salem just a few years ago. Emily didn't believe in the supernatural until she started experiencing strange events in her 17th century home. She tells us stories of strange noises, moving objects, and an unsettling feeling of being watched. Emily is convinced that she shares her home with a spectral roommate from the time of the trials. Finally, we hear from Tom, a lifelong resident and self-proclaimed witch. He shares his belief that the witch trials were a tragic misunderstanding of pagan practices, and that the spirits of the accused witches are not malevolent, but misunderstood, just as they were in life. The echoes of the past resonate strongly with the residents of Salem, but are these whispers of truth or mere urban legends? To separate facts from folklore, we turn to the historians, the guardians of Salem's past. These are the individuals who have dedicated their lives to unraveling the threads of truth that weave the fabric of our understanding of the Salem witch trials. Historians remind us that the 17th century was a time of fear and superstition. The concept of witchcraft was deeply ingrained in the societal fabric, a tool used to explain the unexplainable. Disease, misfortune, even bad weather were often attributed to the malevolent influence of witches. In Salem, this fear was magnified, fueled by religious fervor and social tension, and in the pressure cooker of suspicion and panic, innocent lives were tragically lost. The trials were not isolated incidents of mass hysteria, but rather a culmination of a series of events that sparked a deadly wildfire of paranoia and persecution. As we delve into the historical accounts, we find that the trials were not as black and white as they are often portrayed. They were not merely a hunt for witches, but a complex tapestry of power struggles, personal vendettas, and societal anxieties. Historians also debunk many myths surrounding the trials. For instance, the accused were not burned at the stake, a common misconception, but were instead hanged or died in jail awaiting trial. The infamous witch tests were not as widespread as popular culture suggests, and the role of spectral evidence was far more nuanced than simply seeing visions of the accused. The Salem Witch Trials were a dark chapter in history, one that is often shrouded in mystery and misconceptions. But by examining the historical evidence, we can begin to see the true picture of what occurred. The historian's verdict is clear. Salem was not so much a town bewitched, but a town in the throes of fear and suspicion. It was a community caught in a storm of its own making, a storm that left a lasting scar on its history. Armed with historical facts, we can now explore the paranormal perspective of Salem's past. History provides facts, but the paranormal seeks what lies beyond. Here's what the experts have to say. In our quest to understand the Salem Witch Trials, we venture into the realm of the inexplicable, the uncanny, the paranormal. We've sought the insights of those who dedicate their lives to exploring the spectral side of existence. These investigators of the unknown have shared their findings and theories about the infamous witch trials and any lingering echoes of the past that still resonate today. First, we turn to the matter of energy. Paranormal investigators often speak of the energy imprints that intense events can leave behind. In a place like Salem, steeped in such powerful and traumatic history, these energy imprints could be profound. Some investigators believe that the traumatic events of the witch trials have left a palpable energy in the town, a spectral residue that can still be felt by those sensitive to such phenomena. Next, we delve into theories of lingering spirits. Several paranormal experts have suggested that the souls of those accused and executed during the trials may still roam Salem. These restless spirits, they argue, could be trapped in an eternal cycle of fear and confusion, unable to find peace. Witnesses have reported sightings and strange occurrences, which they attribute to the presence of these spectral beings. We also consider the hypothesis of psychometry, the ability to glean information about an object's past by touching it. Some paranormal experts suggest that objects from the time of the trials could hold echoes of the past. They propose that these objects, when handled by someone sensitive to their energies, can reveal images or emotions tied to the horrific events of the witch trials. Finally, we explore the idea of collective memory. Some paranormal theorists argue that the collective trauma of the witch trials has seeped into the very fabric of Salem, creating a kind of communal ghost that haunts the town. This ghost, they say, is not a single entity, but a manifestation of the town's shared past and enduring tragedy. With insights from the paranormal experts, we are now ready to draw our conclusions. As we stand at the intersection of history and the paranormal, we attempt to piece together the puzzle of Salem's past. The investigators have been silent for a moment, collecting their thoughts. They've heard from locals, steeped in the lore of this place, from historians with their meticulous dissection of records and events, and from paranormal experts who've brought their unique insights into the intangible world of spirits and specters. The task now is to weave together these threads, these disparate perspectives, in hopes of forming a cohesive understanding of the Salem Witch Trials. This isn't a task taken lightly. The echoes of those dark days are still heard in the whispers of the wind, in the rustle of leaves, in the hushed voices of the townsfolk. The implications of their findings are profound. The witch trials weren't just a tragic episode of mass hysteria. They were a mirror reflecting the fears, insecurities, and power struggles of a society on the edge of the known world. These events were not just about witchcraft, but about human nature itself, about our capacity for suspicion, fear, and ultimately, cruelty. The investigators have also grappled with the question of the paranormal. Can the echoes of such traumatic events linger in a place imprinted on the very fabric of its existence? The paranormal experts believe so, and their experiences in Salem have only reinforced this belief. There's a sense of awe, of reverence, as these modern-day investigators tread the same ground where these tormented souls once stood. They have journeyed into the past, sifted through the shadows of history, and emerged with a deeper understanding of these haunting events. The witch trials of Salem, a dark chapter in history, continue to fascinate and terrify us. Today, we have journeyed into the past, sifted through the shadows, and emerged with a deeper understanding of these haunting events.